Hello and welcome everyone to TC Furlong's 10th annual Digital Console Expo. We are so happy that everyone can join us here today. I am Brian Gran and this is Aaron Posega. We are with the TC Furlong sales and marketing team, and we are going to be your hosts for this week's event.
Now, as Brian mentioned, this is our 10th annual Digital Console Expo. We've been holding this event for the past 10 years as a way for our clients to come together with some of our manufacturer partners to learn more about the latest in digital console technology in an environment that is a little less chaotic than the normal large trade show environment. Now, obviously, we weren't able to hold an in-person event this year, but we're still very excited to be able to bring everyone together and present this virtual event.
Now, as Aaron mentioned, this year's event is going to be a little bit different, but we're so happy that everyone can be here with us today, and we're so happy that we can still be doing this virtually. So this year's event is going to be over 3 days. Today is just day one. It's going to be made of two main parts. This morning's main session, which you're in right now, is going to feature a combination of pre-recorded presentations from manufacturers, followed by live interactions and discussions with those manufacturers. In the afternoon, those manufacturers will also have a time to do the breakout Q&A sessions. These are going to be small group Zoom rooms where you can have one-on-one conversations with manufacturers. It should be somewhat equivalent to entering into a manufacturer's booth on a trade show floor. All of the registration for the breakout Q&A sessions can be found at digitalconsoleexpo.com. We still have some space available for today's sessions with Allen Heath and Yamaha this afternoon. We also have some special events going on, which are deep dive webinars with certain manufacturers. And these are times where certain manufacturers can feature specific products. Today we have Allen Heath D-Live systems this evening. Again, registration can be found for that event at the digitalconsoleexpo.com website.
Now, before we kick things off, I do want to tell you a little bit more about our company, TC Furlong, Inc. I know there are a lot of familiar names joining us here today, a lot of folks who would normally be at our in-person event, so it's great to see you all here. But I know that there are a lot of new names here as well who we might be less familiar with. So if you're not familiar with our company and what we do, I do want to give you a quick overview of everything that we do here. TC Furlong, Inc. is a live sound company based out of Lake Forest, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. The company was established in 1973 by the man himself, TC Furlong. Over the years, it's grown from an operation that was literally run out of his garage to the company that it is today. And the company that it is today is a full-service live sound production company with a client base not only here in Chicagoland and the Midwest, but all across the country. Now, we like to say that everything we do falls into one of four umbrellas. Those are equipment sales, equipment rentals, live events, and services. And that includes sound system design and alignment, repairs, RF coordination, and much more. Now, we know that not all of our clients' needs are going to fall neatly under just one of those four umbrellas. So our company has a great emphasis on synergy, on working together between departments, and on designing the best possible solution for each of our clients' individual needs. And that leads me to our company's slogan and really the entire philosophy that our company operates under, and that's better audio by design.
Now, we have a great show for everyone here today. We have presentations from Allen Heath and Yamaha. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, RCF will not be able to join us today, but stay tuned. We hope to feature them in a webinar in the upcoming months here. Make sure you stick around through the end of each presentation. That's when manufacturers will be doing their giveaway. We have some really cool items, including a small utility mixer and even a pair of headphones.
And with that, I think we're ready to kick things off. So we're going to get started this morning with a presentation from our friends at Allen Heath.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pat McConnell. I'm a regional with Allen Heath in the US here. And I'm really happy to be part of TC Furlong's Console Expo this year, online, right? Interesting times and fun to be a part of this event and all the work that goes with it. And before I jump into the Allen Heath products, I'll tell you what differentiates Allen Heath in the industry. We've had an incredible leap forward in the last few years And it's through technology, but most importantly, I think it's through culture. And the culture of our organization is different than some of the other manufacturers. We don't have someone who is just an MBA at the helm telling us what widgets to sell. What's cool about it is passion is what drives Allen and Heath. The managing director, that's the Brit term for our CEO, who manages our business worldwide, has a PhD in digital engineering, right? This guy is elbows deep in designing plugins and doing stuff with our products even to this day. And he heads up our engineering team. It's Dr. Rob Clark is the gentleman's name, and he's just a bloke. He's a fun guy. He'll talk gear until you're blue in the face. And his statement is that Allen and Heath doesn't design products. We just listen to our customers. You as our customers design our products. So that culture permeates our entire company. The passion for audio. We love mixers. It's what we do, and it's what we've been doing for 50 years. So in the past few years, we've had a tremendous leap forward in our technology capability with Allen and Heath. This is based on an FPGA engine that we've created, and that we call the XCVI core, right? So now I've acronymed it to death. I think that's what I call Haiti, which are horrible acronyms in this industry. I'll try to keep that to a minimum. So this FPGA processor allows us to handle audio in a different way than we have previously, and it gives us incredible horsepower for processing audio in a phenomenal way. These consoles that I'm going to show you, the digital consoles that I show you today, all have the XCVI technology built into them, and it allows us a 2496 audio path. It allows us absolutely incredible throughput in that it's all sub-millisecond latency. And we've also built our FPGA to be completely phase coherent. No matter how we route stuff in our FPGA, this allows you the phase coherency that used to make all the old analog desks sound so phenomenal, right? That's built in and you can't goof it up. So that's an incredible advantage for us in the overall output quality of this 2496 capable sound that we have. So if I talk first about the first console that we designed with the FPGA in it, that would be the D-Live. This is the flagship of our fleet. The D-Live has been out for a few years and our innovations continue with it. This is nowhere near complete in our continuing development for the product. And what's awesome about it is we can actually take that FPGA technology, because we've got so much processing available, that we can innovate the console over and over. When you get a new firmware update, it's like getting a new console. There's a bunch of new features and we never charge for that. So if we look at what a D-Live is, this is what I like to think of as an audio Lego set, right? So this is an incredible system in that every system we have, regardless of the class, whether it's S class or C class, we have two different types, is 128 mixable inputs with 64 user definable and user assignable output buses. You can decide what this is going to do and where it's going to do it for you. We can use multiple products to do mixing for you in different locations. We can have multiple engines. We can tie technologies together, and we can use multiple different types of network audio capabilities. So that's the D-Live, and we'll dive into that a little bit deeper as well. That flagship has been out for a number of years. And then the next thing that we did right after we'd introduced the D-Live is we went to a little smaller format, and that's in the SQ. The SQ is an incredible series of consoles using, once again, our XCVI technology in the FPGA, but we downsized it. These are smaller consoles that are an all-in-one solution, or they can be part of a network solution. They can hang on the same stuff. And like I like to say, you'll hear me say it a few times, we play well with others, right? So we can host other technologies. You can have our connectivity. You could have Dante, you could have Waves. We do all of that internally. There's 3 models in the SQ. And I like to say that this is our 6-figure sounding console, because it's all 2496 with that sub-millisecond processing, all phase coherent, but that it's at a 4-figure price point, right? So street prices on this, the map is $3,000 to $5,000, depending on whether it's an SQ5, 6, or 7. So that's in the SQ series. And then the latest development that we've had has been in the Avantis series product. So the Avantis is yet another FPGA mixer that can be a standalone solution, or that one can be part of a network system. And that has some new technology we designed in. This single model of the series takes up everything in the middle between the great big D-Live stuff and the smaller level SQ stuff, and it provides a solution for everything in the middle. The Avantis has some new design technology built into it. We've got a new frame on it, and most importantly, we've got what we're calling the continuity UI. Continuity UI sounds a little like a medical procedure, but what we really mean is the user interface. So how we've designed this is different than our previous consoles, and we're using some ginormous screen technology that we've included. This is really well received in the marketplace. People are in love with this interface. So I'd also like to make sure you get a chance to check out our Everything IO ecosystem. That's all of our Gazinta and Gazauta boxes that we manufacture. Everything that we have. What's unique about this is it's all of our 2496 preamps in a myriad of different sizes and configurations, inputs, outputs, whatever your design would require. Not only that, but legacy products that we've had in the line for a long time that are older technologies can adapt into many of these new consoles that we have. So you can do retrofit installations, build in your existing inventories, use boxes that you or customers have already had, and that can also live inside of the same ecosystems. So in addition to the boxes, we also offer quite a number of different technologies. And as I've said before, we play well with others. So in addition to those big boy consoles, we also have some other technologies that I'll cover for you a little deeper. We'll dive into the ME series products, which is a 40-channel personal mixing solution that works with all of our digital consoles. The other thing that I'd like to introduce you and not forget about is, remember those just really, awesome, easy to use analog consoles? We still make a bunch of them. We call those the Z series. So if you want, we make a 36 input 4-bus Z mixer with everything that you've known from decades past, if that's what you'd like to work with. Most commonly, we're working with Z series products that look more like this. They're sizable, and depending on what your need set is, we can give you something that's great for a performance mixer, and most of the smaller series of Z come with a varying level of input and output via USB. So this can become your audio interface. So this is for the podcasters. This is for the creators, right? This is for the bloggers and the music makers. So if you're interested in some of that, we can cover it as well. So once again, thank you for popping into this product overview. And what we'll do now is dive in a little deeper. First, I'd like to introduce you to the D-Live series product. All right, so if big consoles are your thing, D-Live is it. This is our flagship, as I said before. This is using our XCVI Core FPGA. This series of console has been out for about 5 years now, and we've had a number of different firmware developments, and we've got another one that's coming very soon that's going to add even more features. When we've rolled some of these out, it's been really significant. But if I give you a quick little flyover on it, what's unique for us is that this was the one that we went big on network audio. So this is a surface, and while it looks like a console, it's really just the mouse that's controlling everything. The engine lives inside of the I/O box, right? Our stage rack that we have there. Now, we have a number of different sizes, and actually we have a couple of different series of D-Live. I should probably start there. So we have the S-Class, which is built and designed originally for touring, and now we're selling as much or more of it into broadcast and house of worship scenarios where they want to make certain that everything is belt and suspenders, right? So the two things that always fail, cabling and power supplies, we added redundancy in the S-Class series D-Live. And then we also, about a year or two later, came out with the C-Class. Now the C-Class does not include the redundancy. However, and it's a little more compact, C is for compact, but both have several offerings in surfaces and multiple offerings in the I/O box size. And then we even have some of those that are just the engine without any of the I/O. This is part of what I had said earlier was kind of our Lego set for audios, right? Surface that I have here is what we call our C3500, and this is actually in the C class. We have larger surfaces and smaller surfaces. The C3500 is one of the most popular. This one does not have the redundancy, however, does have 24 faders and dual screens on it. We have single screen versions, and now we even have a titanium version that we have of a C1500 that you can actually control 128 channels with that surface because it's part of a D-Live system. And that one's fly packable, and that's actually starting to ship in December. In the rack IO, that's the interface for how we can tie things together for lots of connectivity. So where you'd normally think of your gazintas and gazautas for mic patching, there's some local patching on the back of surfaces. And we can get far deeper into this if you'd like to sign up for the deep dive that we're going to have for D-Live. The TC Furlong folk will let you know where to do that. And you can come in for a full hour dive on just D-Live for us. But to give you some of the features on this C3500, beautiful tools for our hands-on human interface parts, right? High quality Alps faders. By the way, we only manufacture products for mixing made out of metal. We don't use blow molded plastic. Can I get a hey yeah? So we're proudful in that fact. This is an aluminum frame with a steel chassis on it. I've got two super high impact glass touch screens on it. Both are interactive. It's easy to get to anything that you want to in the console itself. So all of your mixing is just a touch away. It can get as complicated as you wish, but in house of worship applications or novice users or volunteer settings, this is really a super useful tool. In addition to the large surface technologies that we have, the engine that we have here can support additional mix controls. And as you can see through faders moving down here in the bottom of the shot, I've got tied in what we call an IP8. We have a series of IP controllers that will give you a sidecar control capability that you can program right from a console or from a system. You don't have to go for special engineering and training. If you can read the manual and operate this console, you can do all the training you need for all of our IP controllers. We even have a single gang controller that's called an IP1, and we can show you more of how to use those in the deep dive if that's interesting to you. I have a little IP6, which is a programmable rotary knob version of mixing, and we can actually change what we get to on these controllers very simply and very easily. There's expandability in these systems, both with our gazintas and gazautas. So if you want additional boxes or things run through a system or a facility, you can do that very easily. Everything connects with Cat5e or Cat6 cabling. And then in addition to that, we also play well with others, as you've heard me say. I've got a Dante card that I'm using for transport here. And then I'm also using our GigaAce protocol for connectivity between the surface and the rack. Just everything is well thought out and very easy to use and implement. So if you have interest in the D-Live series products and you'd like to learn more, make certain that you get a chance to sign up for our deep dive D-Live session. So the next Allen Heath series product that I would like to introduce you to is our SQ series. I have the SQ6 mixer with me, but we have three mixers in the SQ series. They're the SQ5, the SQ6, and the SQ7. All three of these mixers use the same FPGA engine, though the sizes vary. So it's basically local input and number of faders that change on each desk. But each one of them having the same engine can mix up to 48 mixable inputs. Okay. Now there's additional channels. Like I don't count effects returns, and we have up to 8 stereo effects returns. If you want to count channels and compare, you can. But I really just talk about the tools that we use in the field, when we're mixing. So the 48 inputs are best in class, right? This is another FPGA console that has 24-bit 96 kilohertz audio quality. So it also has that phase coherency built in. So as I said before, the sound of this is like a great big touring desk, but I have fun with it as I go out and mix buddies' bands because I can carry an SQ5 under one arm. And hey, the little guy's got the 48 channel mixer himself. Don't worry about it. It's easy. These work with all of our remote boxes, everything in our Everything IO system, whether it's legacy product or new product, based on some technology that we built into our switching mechanism that we call the S-Link. The S-Link comes included on the desk itself. So output sections on an SQ are extraordinary. you have your left-right. It is set up to be a left-right mix. And if you want to get more elaborate than that, we've got 12 additional mixes, and you can set those up in a new way. So the idea is that you could have 12 mono mixes or 12 stereo mixes. You can choose what you want that mix to be, mono or stereo. The other thing that we've added in is the ability to say, okay, what are we going to use for mixes? The reason we call it mix is those can be an auxiliary send, mono or stereo, or they can then be a group send, mono or stereo. So depending on what you want, if it's auxes or groups and some of the processing that goes with, we're going to have a deep dive on the SQ series. So if you're interested in learning more about this, please sign up for our deep dive session. The TC Furlong guys will give you the schedule for that, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Tell you a little bit more about the console yet. In addition to that remote connectivity, each one of these desks has either 16 inputs and 12 outs, 24 inputs and 14 outs, or 32 local inputs and 16 outputs. So that's just if you have to retrofit something that you're dropping into a club or a house of worship application, you can just use the existing infrastructure if they've already got a snake run. It's easy. Of course, it sounds better if you use the remote boxes, and I think you all know that. So all of that ties in as well. We also built a card capability, so you can add a card for other technologies into the SQ series, and that could be either Dante, Waves. So we'll soon have a MADI card that's going to come out for the SQ series. Oh, did I say that out loud? That's not actually announced. Yes, I did. And then the other thing that we can give you increased and further expansion if you want is we have our own S-Link that you can add a second card to the desk if you want more connectivity ports. So in addition to that, there's a cool USB port connection on the back that'll give you 32 channels in and out. So that'll work great with any DAW setup that you have, or for streaming applications if you're going to be using OSB software. We also built in on the front of the desk itself this little thumb drive interface, and we call that the SQ drive. This is a handy little way to implement firmware updates, and it's also a cool way to be able to store your shows. Even in addition to that, we can record multiple tracks. You can do either stereo tracks or individual tracks from a live performance, depending on how you scale it, up to 24, even more tracks, depending on where you're at and what your sample rates are. So we'll talk more about that as well in the deep dive, but that's in the SQ drive, and that's included in every desk. Onboard effects are included, everything that's needed, but if you want to, you can expand up even further. And if you want to run wave stuff, if that's your dig, then we have that card available as well. So once again, made out of cold rolled steel and aluminum. This is in the quality series of Allen Heath, and it's the SQ. So I'm super excited to tell you about our most recent addition to our FPGA family, right? So let me introduce you to the Allen Heath Avantis series mixing console. We're up for awards with this product already. It has been really well received in the marketplace. And once again, built on that XCVI core technology that we're famous for now. Once again, 2496 audio capability, sub-millisecond processing. This one has a format that drops right in the middle between the great big D-Live offering of 128 by 64 and the 48 by 36 bus offerings that we have in the SQ series. What the Avantis has is 64 mixable inputs by 42 user definable and user programmable buses. So you can decide what those are going to look like. The FPGA can be programmed for whatever your functionality is and the style of mixing that you want in this console. I've mentioned earlier that we've got a couple of innovations in this console. And one of the most unique things about how we did the Avantis is that we actually have a new tubular exoskeleton that's built into the cast metal structure that's here, right? So this is a unique design. It looks a little bit like a Ducati frame. We're going to have a deep dive on the Avantis series as well. So if you're really interested in this, please make certain that you check out the schedule. The TC Furlong team will get you the info when you can join us for that deep dive on Avantis, and I welcome you to come on in for that. The mechanical engineer that is the head of our team that created this mixer is a former British tank commander. No joke. So of course, it's built like a tank. It's super rock solid. And one of the neat things in the rigidity that we've added with this new tubular construction, it supports what we call our continuity UI in a brand new way. The continuity UI I made jokes about earlier, but that term really refers to the fact that we've got these two massive 15 plus inch diagonal screens, right? And they're full 1080p high def. And they look gorgeous, as you can see here. And everything's interactive. And both screens can work independently for different functionality, depending on what it is that you want to do. They're high impact. We've got them in dark mode, as you can see here, which I think looks gorgeous. This is exactly what I want to use in clubs and theaters and when I'm mixing. You can drag and drop. You can lay this out much like we've had in the D Live is all available in the Avantis, right? An expanded effects engine in this section, right? So we have individual channel processing for everything that you'd ever need, and it's at the touch of a button. So if I want to, I can get right into my compressor and I'm right there. If I want to get into my EQ, it's that quick. It's easy. You're in and you're out. And that's the part of the continuity UI that's a little different. As you can see, our selectability on the screen, we didn't have to add the green row of buttons for select because it's right there in this new interface. So everything comes loaded with all you'll need for it. And we've offered an expanded pack of plugins that we call the D-Pack expansion for it. So we'll dive into what some of those are and some of the advantages with that when we do our deep dive. This once again works as part of our Everything IO ecosystem. We have cards available on the back of the device itself. It can be a standalone mixer. It has a limited input and output count. You've got 12 ins and outs on the back of this one, but you've also got card slots, and it's designed to work with all of our IO boxes that we've created, whether it's legacy product or the new 2496 capable stuff. So super versatile, one model, and it's the Avantis. Join us for that deep dive. I'll look forward to telling you more about it. The next products that I'd like to give you the quick flyover on is our ME series personal mixing system. I have here the ME1 and the ME500, and these products work with all of our mixers, right? So any of our digital consoles can pair up with the ME series. And while it's not the focus of what we do as front of house or mix people, it is really a fabulous interface for the talent that we work with, right? So important stuff to know about this. It's a 40-channel mixing system, and you can easily connect it to any Allen Heath console. It will even pull in the names and populate it as you can set the mixer up. In the ME1 series, right? The ME500 is a little simpler in that it's just a 16-channel system. It's a little less expensive, and it's just a one-to-one correlation for the first 16 channels of whatever we've got set up. The third product that we include in the ME series, if you need it, is we have a PoE switch with some added technology. You can add a Dante card or you can add a Waves card into it so that you could have other protocol to connect that with other manufacturers' devices. So if you come into a house where they want to be able to use ME series products, but you're using a different brand of mixer, but it has Dante capability, there's an easy bridge in the MEU. So super robust. They sound gorgeous, made out of metal, easy to use interface and programmability. That's the ME series products. So the Z series mixers, as I mentioned earlier, are analog kings, right? We still make analog mixers and we do really well with those. These little Z boxes are still made out of metal. They've got individually nutted pots. I can stand on this console. We won't do a deep dive on this series, but if you do have further questions, by all means, reach out to the TC guys and we'll be happy to support you in it. A quick flyover on it for you for the smaller devices. This gives you, depending on the size of it, a USB interface, right? So right now in these crazy times, everybody's looking for some way to do audio with their digital devices. And this is a USB connection that sounds gorgeous with high quality preamps. And depending on the size and the scale and the scope of what you need, we have little Gazinta and Gazauta boxes for podcasters. If you want to get a little fancier and you're a music creator, we've got something that can double as a performance device for you with or without onboard effects and of high quality design. And then last, as I mentioned earlier, we've got those great big, 36 channel 4 bus analog consoles if you need that as well. So that's available in the Z series. They're great standalone solutions, and I think that you'll enjoy the Allen Heath quality in the audio.
All right, a lot of great stuff there from Allen and Heath. And now we're going to be joined live by Pat McConnell. Pat is the regional sales manager for Allen and Heath USA. You just saw him in that video. He's also joined by Sean McLaughlin. Sean is a sales rep for AudioBiz. AudioBiz is the company that represents Allen and Heath and a bunch of other great manufacturers in our territory. So it's great to welcome you both. Pat, Sean, how are you guys doing this morning?
Doing really well. Thanks a lot, Aaron. How are you, man? You sound well. Smooth, Daddy. This is just going fabulous.
Yeah, we're hanging in there. You know, we turned into a video production company over the last week, and Brian and I turned into on-camera talent overnight. So we think we're doing well.
You guys have always been talent. Now you're just being humble about it. You're awesome.
Well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate you guys being here. So Pat, I know Allen Heath has a lot going on. You want to just give us a quick overview of everything you've been up to this year?
Yeah, we've had an astounding year, believe it or not, right? We've had astounding sales. We're succeeding. Our availability has been really, really good, all things considered. And for those of us in the industry, we're still announcing some new products. It was funny, I dropped a little hint about a Maddie card for the SQ series. Our press release happened to coincide specifically just with the virtual Digital Console Expo today. So that was fortuitous, and I'm happy to have that. We've got a bunch of new stuff coming on. We're focusing in education, and I think right now the TC team is a leader in this, right? You guys have always been big influencers for us and all the brands. You're a pro to go shop. And right now in this time, we're finding new ways to help reach out and how to support each other. We're doing a lot of education. Technicians are looking for new information, and this is just a great format. So I have to thank you guys for it, and it's fun to participate. It's fun to see my brothers in the industry. In this event, we're all friendly competitors. And if it's cool, I just want to kind of remind everybody as we go through this, some of it, we all have a pre-recorded presentation as the manufacturers, but we're all panelists, and we're all friendly in that we will watch and support each other in each section. And then all of us will have breakouts. The TC team is supporting out our what we're calling the breakout Q&A sessions, and ours today start at 1 p.m. After we're finished here, you'll see the Yamaha presentation, and then they'll have some of theirs scheduled, and then throughout the entire week. So for those of you that are just tuning in and want to kind of know what that looks like, the presentation is the overview. Then we've got the breakout Q&A, where it's like you said earlier, or like Brian said, where it's like walking into our booth, which is why we bring out all the toys. And we have multiple slots scheduled that you can sign up for. So in doing that, the idea is to have it be a two-way communication. It's not, I have to chat at you, so it's great. And we can open those rooms up, and that'll be awesome. And then we've got, Allen Heath has 3 different times scheduled, and some of the other manufacturers do as well, for what we're calling a deep dive conversation, where it's just about the one specific series for me. Tonight, beginning at 5 p.m., we're going to do the D-Live deep dive. Say that 3 times fast, right? And Sean and I will walk through, and we have presentations prepared, but the other part is we'll share some information and then just make it an interactive meeting, and then we have an easy way for follow-up with the TC team. So great little overview for those who tuned in. And once again, to you, Aaron, thanks for everything. And now we've got a drawing this morning here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for participating with us, and thank you for giving us that great overview. That made it look easy. So yeah, I understand we're giving away a Z mixer this morning. You want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I've got to make sure it arrived, because we were still fighting with FedEx to make sure that, as we all know, freight in these times is a little crazy. But we have a Z10 effects unit, which was the larger of the 2 Zs that I was showing you in the recorded presentation. That's a cool little desk, regardless of your level of need. But it's a great little desk for music production, podcasting, webcasting, whatever you'd need. It's a great little interface. It'll give you 4 ins and 4 outs via USB if you want, either for webcast or for if you're using it for a DAW. And it's just a great sounding little tool. And I know that it's something, even if you're used to working on D-Live rigs or whatever else it is, it's still something you go, oh, I could use that for this. So I'm hoping it's a fun giveaway for those who are in attendance.
Absolutely, and we do appreciate that. We do have a winner drawn for the Z10 console, and that is Mr. Brian Kim of Chicago, Illinois. So congratulations, Brian. You don't have to do anything to claim the prize. We'll be reaching out to you later this week via the email that you used to sign up, so just keep an eye out for that. Pat, Sean, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and we'll be talking to you a little bit later this afternoon and throughout the rest of the week at the rest of your deep dive sessions. So thanks again.
Aaron, thank you very much.
Thanks again, Aaron.
All right, thanks again to Pat and Sean for joining us this morning, sharing their time and knowledge of Allen and Heath. And if you're just tuning in, if you joined a little bit late, thank you, and welcome to the TC Furlong Inc. Virtual Digital Console Expo. This is our 10th iteration of the event this year, and we're really happy to be able to welcome you all in. As Pat laid out so well for us during that segment, this main session that you're watching right now is really just one piece of the whole event that we have planned this week. So if you have any questions that don't get answered during this main session this morning, if you want to learn more about any specific pieces of gear that our manufacturers are presenting, the good news is you have plenty of opportunities to do that. Starting this afternoon at 1 p.m. Central Time, each manufacturer will have 4 separate breakout Q&A sessions. Those will last a half hour each. I believe there are still slots available in each of those sessions, but there is an attendance cap on each of those. So make sure you sign up now. You can do that at digitalconsoleexpo.com. We also have some deep dive sessions, starting with the first one at 5 p.m. Central today, and that's going to be with Pat and Sean looking at the Allen and Heath D-Live series. And then we have some more scheduled throughout the week as well. And again, you can sign up for that at digitalconsoleexpo.com.
That's great. And we're so happy that everyone can be with us here today. Thank you again to Pat and Sean with the Allen and Heath team. Next up, we have a presentation from Yamaha, and we'll be joined shortly afterwards with David Venus, Chip, Jose, Ryan, and Chris from the Yamaha team as well.
Check 1, 2. Yamaha Professional Audio began operations in 1969. The years that followed saw the release of groundbreaking products, the likes of which the industry had never seen before, such as the NS10M, which set the standard for studio monitors, the O2R, which did the same for production consoles, and the PM1D, which has supported live performances around the world. Yamaha's professional audio products won widespread acclaim in a variety of areas, including the installed audio market for stadiums, halls, and stores, the production market, which includes broadcasting, post-production, and private studios, and especially the live touring market. With the purchase of German company Steinberg Media Technologies in 2005, followed by the French company Nexo in 2008, we will continue to bring excitement and inspiration to every corner of the market. In 2007, we received a Technical Grammy Award for our contribution to the music industry and the recording sector. Yamaha has developed many revolutionary technologies over the years, including VCM digital technology that models analog circuits at an elemental level. This won favor with renowned analog circuit designer Rupert Neve, and in 2010 we entered into an agreement to engage in technology collaboration with his company. Yamaha has its own research and development facilities, design laboratory, and factories, and is thus able to provide consistent quality control. We also work to balance superior sound quality with beautiful designs that are easy to use, all of which are designed in Japan. With production facilities in Japan and other Asian nations, we have received ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 certification and are able to mass produce our products with consistency in an environment that allows us to enforce strict quality control. With sales and support facilities around the world, Yamaha provides the same high-quality service regardless of location and continues to be a business partner that customers who are expanding their businesses on a global scale can trust. We also offer comprehensive training programs at each facility that help customers to use our products appropriately and effectively. With the ultimate goal of sharing passion and performance, we will continue to work to satisfy our customers, always keeping in mind the foundation of superior quality sound creation established by our predecessors.
The Yamaha brand to me means quality. I always know what I'm going to get with Yamaha. I like that I can go between different consoles and know that the interface is always going to be the same, and that's one of the greatest things for me. My name is Joshua Laurie, and I'm the Student Ministry Production Coordinator at Bay Area Community Church. The building that we're currently sitting in was the brainchild of my boss, Brent. We are growing in this area in students. Right now, we have about 250 students a weekend. And so we wanted to create a space where everyone kind of belongs and to give them a cool experience that not many students in our area get to have. As we were coming up with ways to make this space the best that we could for students, we went all in with Yamaha. All of our spaces have a variety of Yamaha or Nexo gear, anywhere from the audio consoles to the amplifiers and PAs. All of our audio consoles are the same, so that way all of our volunteers can go in between the spaces without a learning curve. One of the greatest things about this system is that I don't always need to provide an audio engineer or a multimedia person. Through the Provisionaire app, I'm able to just give my guests an iPad and they have all the control over wireless mics and music. So that way I don't need to be here and it's something easier to teach them instead of having to look at all these knobs and explain what everything does. It's been such an amazing experience in my time here of just hearing about the dream that my boss Brent had to coming and seeing models of what the building would be throughout the whole build process and finally seeing a complete project. The value of having Yamaha systems in your church is the partnership that you get with the Yamaha Corporation. They were with me step by step throughout this entire process, whether it be in the building and designing and figuring out what system I needed, through the installation, and then through support. If I can't figure out how to do something, Yamaha has either had a video for me or the customer service has gotten back to me right away that's helped me to figure out how to best implement these solutions. At every single church that I've gotten to be a part of, there's been some instance of Yamaha in the building. They have something for you and they want you to be able to use it and to use it well. I believe that Yamaha has provided us the best solution to give students a place where everyone belongs.
a fantastic experience so far. The console sounds tremendous. It's very much like using a scalpel. You can make it sound pretty much exactly like how you imagine it in your head. Operationally, it's been fantastic. And one of the things that I'd like to point out too is how small this thing is. It's not a big console. It's not for the power that you have available. It's really not a big surface.
The layout is fantastic, and the workflow is just really easy. I can't say enough about the sound. It's such a different, amazing console. The dynamic range alone it's actually changed the way I've been mixing.
It's just an amazing sounding console. It's unbelievable. My pretty much jaw was on the ground when I pushed the fader up. So within 5 minutes, I think within 15 minutes, I could have probably mixed a show and been very happy with it. Not like some of the other digital consoles that have come out. It seems like you have to take a half a day to just get everything programmed in before you can actually have that art back of mixing.
I'd like to thank Yamaha for creating this product. It's probably one of the best things to come to audio since the SM58. Makes all of our mixing jobs here so much easier. Sounds absolutely amazing. The tools that are available for you on here have saved my tail time and time again. I want to just get back onto how great this piece sounds. I've had so many musicians make their way, to come back to Monitor World and thank us after performance on how good everything sounds.
The new monitor board that we have from Yamaha has made a huge difference in what I'm hearing. And this goes to a lot of the other players in the band as well. The spectrum of frequencies and the depth of colors that I'm hearing from the piano and from everything that comes through my wedge is clearer and just has a much greater broad set of frequencies that I'm hearing, and I love it.
This is really a game changer. It's minimalized our rack space to essentially this right here.
Really good sounding desk. Got the one of my favorite features that I messed with today was the silk from Rupert Neve.
Above all else, the console sounds great.
This console, like any other console, just takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you figure out where everything is, it's pretty awesome.
Just pushing up faders and getting gains and using the Rupert Neve silk function. I was very, very happy.
Man, I've been nothing short of amazed at the sonics of this console. It's the most analog sounding digital console that I've run across.
The preamp is my favorite feature. I was just asked, what's your favorite feature of this console? I think it's the preamp and this silk feature. But it truly is that magical thing. It just compounded over several channels. It makes things bigger. It makes things more in your face. There's a depth that happens.
Workflow is great. It's very comfortable to get around and navigate. Very Yamaha-esque. So if you're coming from the CL series, there's a lot of flavor in that direction.
I got this beautiful PM10 Rivage thrown at me, which is a very smooth transition when you know the CL or any Yamaha console.
Really love this desk. I actually was supposed to be trained on it one day, and I walked in and the person that was going to train me wasn't there. So I sat with this desk, and in 3 hours, I knew how to run it. I had everything working on it.
Some of the cool features I like about it, one of them is the most important one for me is how the console sounds just right out of the box.
The silk is my favorite feature on the desk.
It's one of those magical features that actually works.
It just adds this quality to it that's amazing. I've never been able to get a vocal sound on a digital desk that I was happy with until this desk.
Quick desk to get around on, easy, really festival friendly.
Every artist I had this year was kind of a funny thing because the first thing they said when they go out of the stage was like, best monitor ever,
Overall, very, very fresh, fantastic festival deck.
Feels great and everybody's happy. So great job Yamaha on that. It's a beautiful desk and I'm very happy I had the chance to work with it this year.
All right. So next up, we will have David Venus, our district manager from Yamaha, joining us. David,
Hey,
are you there?
yeah, I'm here. Man, thank
How
you
are you
so
doing
much for
today?
having us. We're really excited to be here, and we're thankful that you guys are so forward thinking and put on an event like this. I know it's been a really challenging year for everybody. So
Yeah, no, it's great, and we're so happy that we could have you guys here today. So first off, want to talk about Yamaha has a long history with digital consoles. Can you tell us a little bit about Yamaha's systems-based approach?
yeah, so Yamaha, I mean, like you said, has a pretty rich history. Dating back to 1969, so 51 years in the pro audio industry, and obviously through continual advancement, our approach has been trying to bring forth products that really support the end user, and that goes outside of just consoles. But Yamaha really did set the standard for consoles in general. Starting all the way with analog and something like the MG mixer, which is the best-selling analog mixer of all time. And then the introduction of PM1D. I mean, really set I think our industry in a whole different direction, with the onset of digital mixing. So, Yamaha, I think, is set up in a really unique position as a whole. We obviously have a really wide product base, and that allows us, I think, to service our customers from a true system solutions approach. And whether that's a small restaurant, cafe, stage, or that's all the way up to an NFL or baseball stadium. We have products that can meet a solution for just about anybody on any scale. So, makes my job super challenging, but I think it also offers something, to you guys at TC Furlong, that you can offer these solutions that are cohesive and 100% through coherent to the end user. So. That has, I think, been our biggest push, and and what has been a really interesting year has been, I think, our shining light. Having consoles and speakers and amplifiers and being able to push forth that total solution. So.
Sure. And I know we want to talk about the breakout Q&A sessions. Again, Yamaha and Allen Heath will both be available for breakout Q&A sessions later today. You can find registration for those at the digitalconsoleexpo.com website. Now, David, I know Yamaha has a line all the way from TF to Rivage with CL, QL in between there. And from what I understand, you'll have all of those available to take a look at during the breakout sessions today.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously having such a wide variety, really we want to keep it pretty open form and allow people to ask questions and kind of get that personal interaction. I know a lot of people are really, striving for that right now, being kind of cooped up at home. So,
yeah,
we'll be covering, PM3, PM5, obviously, I think is the big, the big thing that people want, to see.
Sure. And that we can talk about that just for a second. The exciting release of some of the expanded Rivage family this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It actually won Best of Show from Pro Sound News Mag, Best of Show virtual edition, I guess, as
sure.
In-person events. But also we'll cover, which I'm technically 2 minutes early, but I think I'll go ahead and say it. At 11 Central, we're going to be announcing a new firmware update for Rivage as well, so 4.7. Which is going to introduce a brand new, I always butcher this, but the Bracasti design Y7 reverb, and which is actually one of the most popular outboard reverbs out there. And it is actually the only, we're the only console manufacturer to have something like this. So I'm pretty excited about that. And obviously we've, introduced the Rivage Waves card firmware update I think actually just about a month ago. So be covering all that. Please, I want to make sure everybody's not bashful. Just because it's not Rivage doesn't mean we won't talk about it, because QL and CL are still selling like hotcakes. And TF, no matter where your knowledge base is, we want to make sure that we get you guys the answers that you guys are looking for, whether that's TF or all the way up to PM10. So
that's great. So we do have a giveaway here that I think we want to get into. Just was handed this note a second ago. Now Yamaha is going to be giving away I think I have this model number right, a pair of HPH 100WH headphones.
Correct.
Is that correct? All
Yep.
right. All right. So our giveaway winner is Beauregard Nayland. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, from Madison, Wisconsin. Congratulations. Again, we'll be reaching out to you directly. You don't have to do anything. We'll reach out via the email that you provided there. All right. Thanks again, David, for joining us here today. It's really great being able to talk to you guys, and I look forward to sitting in on the breakout sessions with you guys later today as well.
I absolutely look forward to it, and I'm really, really happy that you guys were able to put this event on, all things considered. So thanks for having us.
Oh, that's great. All right. We'll talk to you later, David.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you again to David, and I know we've got a bunch of the other Yamaha team members on standby. They'll be able to help us out during the breakout Q&A sessions later today. They'll be able to show you just about everything in the Yamaha Digital Console lineup today. Thanks again to Pat and Sean for joining us earlier this morning to tell us about the latest from Allen and Heath. Another thank you to our TC Furlong technical team joining us here on site to safely produce this event. That team consists of Matt Calera, Steve Wittenhall, Scott Helmke, and AJ Merton. Thank you guys for all the work that's gone into this week and the previous weeks to bring this event together. We obviously could not have done this without you. Big thank you as well to the rest of the TC Furlong team who helped with planning this event, promoting this event, and even, covering the phones and emails today so that we could be here playing with cool gear and talking about digital consoles all day. And finally, a big thank you to all of you who have joined us for this first of 3 main session presentations today. And we're looking forward to seeing you later today and throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, so make sure you sign up for Allen Heath and Yamaha breakout Q&A sessions later today. Again, all of that breakout registration information can be found at digitalconsoleexpo.com. You also want to make sure you sign up for the Allen Heath D-Live deep dive session if D-Live is a console you think might be right for you. Again, registration can all be found at digitalconsoleexpo.com. Also a reminder, this is the first of 3 days of events here. So make sure you stick around. We got a lot of great content for you. Tomorrow we will be featuring SSL, Lawo, and Avid. And on Thursday, we'll also have Waves and Digico here.
And you could use the same link that you used to sign into the webinar today to sign in at the same time tomorrow morning. Thank you once again for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you the rest of this week.